Hey guys, this is Pamela checking in on our Speak Up for Our Future channel tonight. I suppose you all have seen the news reports by now that there has been a shooting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where possibly 4 cops have been shot and policemen have called in for backup forces. One guy is in custody, and it just goes on and on and on. Then I follow a guy by the name of American Joe that says we need to be armed and ready, for what's coming, but I hate to tell him that no matter how high you arm yourself, whether you have an AR-15 or a Glock pistol, you're never going to be ready for the big bloodbath that we're in. And besides, people like Donald Trump, the government, and the NRA aren't doing anything to curb this problem. And then on the flip side, a lot of people are blaming the Democrats. A lot of people are blaming the Republicans. I blame anybody without a moral compass to not want restrictions on gun control. Maybe this is what we need to get rid of the AR-15s and the body armor and all that shit. I've been trying to stay loose on the news coverage, but when I heard that there was a shooting in Philadelphia a little over a week after the last round of mass shootings, Dayton and El Paso, right? And I look at it this way. People who do this shit are looking for a way to be famous. You hear about the Aurora shooter, the Charleston shooter, the Santa Monica College shooter. The Santa Monica College shooter was a mental case. The Washington Navy Yard was a fucking mental case. But you have people that want to feel the urge to kill. You think about that kid in Dayton who pulled off the last shooting that we had in our country. I heard his best friend lied on some forms to get extra weapons, body armor, bullets, the whole works, and was hiding that stuff in his apartment away from Betsy's parents. Shit. You have to forgive that. That's just telemarketers, but seriously, folks, our country is really in a quandary. Give it a minute here. Fuck the telemarketers. Yep. You have to forgive me for that. But yeah, I've been watching my local affiliates, and they said that a shooting had broken out in Philadelphia, PA. They say 4 cops may have been shot. A mayor was on the way to the hospital. And I don't know what else is going on with that. And the local law enforcement is asking for major backup on that run. So my thoughts go out to the people that are in lockdown right now and the cops who were shot. Hopefully nobody died. And besides, they got one of the motherfuckers in custody. So yeah. But a lot of people think it was orchestrated. But you know what? You got a lot of nutballs that want to besmirch your right to carry weapons. And this is why I think high-powered weapons don't need to be in the hands of everyday Americans. Too many nuts want to feel the thrill of killing. The NRA doesn't want any imposed sanctions, so they're not willing to work with anybody. The government is basically sitting on their hands. And let's see. Colt 45, a.k.a. President 45, he's not helping matters any. So, if anything, things like racial crimes have gone up. Murders on police officers and everyday folk have gone way through the roof. But my thoughts are focused right now on the young people that are caught in the middle of this mess. Kids have started back to school. Some kids are in lockdown on their first day of school, and there's a guy on here and on BitChute by the name of American Joe. Seems like a nice enough guy, but as a Democrat, a lot of people are quick to point the blame at the Democrats. But I think things like this have been simmering for a long time, and racial crime and especially assault on our police officers and everyday people have skyrocketed since Donald Trump took office. This blatant assault on people in law enforcement and other branches of emergency services has got to be put back to where people can actually feel safe. But I don't think any amount of body armor, weaponry, any shells or whatever you have, stun guns, I don't think anything that you could do could ever fully prepare you that what could possibly happen. It's not just the war that we're fighting here at home in terms of shootings and mass casualties, but we're talking about the possibility of having a nuclear war. One guy I follow, Tom Mauser, on America Under Fire, often talked about a thing that they used to practice in school called duck and cover in the threat of war. So, and I watched American Joe's video talking about the shooting in Philly. And a lot of people that follow his channel think it was orchestrated and that, they don't cover enough shootings every day. My news certainly does. Come to my city of Columbus. There are a lot worse places in my city that have dealt with shootings. Even my own neighborhood has dealt with possible shootings. And it's scary. And a lot of people call me a coward because I don't really have any high-powered weapons, and nor would I want one. And if I die defending my home, I die defending my home. But what can you do? When something could happen at any moment's notice that could get people killed or hurt. You can never be fully prepared for anything. The only thing I could tell you people is that you need to think about the people in Philadelphia. You need to think about the people in Texas. You need to think about the people in Dayton, going back as far as 1999 when Columbine happened. Then you had the Aurora movie theater shooting. Then you had the Washington Navy Yard shooting, the Santa Monica shooter, Santa Monica College shooter. And it's a mess. If you don't believe me, check out the series America Under Fire. This has been going on for a long time, and I think it took a guy like Trump to blow the lid off. And I feel bad for those that are caught in the crosshairs tonight. I think David Muir or whoever's coming on NBC is coming on next at 6:30. Hopefully nobody died tonight. I actually know somebody that was a cop. He survived his tenure as a policeman and retired some years back. Sometime after 2009, I think. And I grew up in the same neighborhood as he did. He was a lot older than me. When I was little, when Atari was big, he was a teenager. And, I didn't know he was a full-fledged cop until I saw him one day at a Beatlemania concert. And he's like, Pammy, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm here to see Beatlemania. What about you? And he says, well, I'm working this gig tonight, but I'll be retiring soon. And I'm like, really? And he says, yeah, it's a tough job. I'm glad to be retiring soon. But a lot of cops don't get that lucky break to be able to go through a whole career without getting shot. A lot of cops don't even get to make it home. So if I hear about any cop being shot in the line of duty, I think about my former neighbor that used to be a cop and what he might have had to have faced in his tenure as a police officer. A lot of people think that these shootings that are happening now are orchestrated by our government to take away high-powered weapons. They don't want to take away guns from the responsible gun owners. They want to get the guns out of liars' hands and nut jobs' hands. But when you got a guy that helped out the Dayton shooter in getting his weaponry, how can we trust people who fill out those forms? But as I close this video out, I know this is short, but I'm not making it a late night tonight. But how can we trust somebody who fills out those forms? If you've ever been convicted of a felony, you could lie on those forms all you want. And they usually find out that the person did not tell the truth until after the thing has happened. The Dylann Roof shooting is a good example of that. The Santa Monica College shooting is a good example of that. If they really want to help curb this gun violence, maybe they should stop the online sale of what they call ghost guns. And this is what I picked up on that America Under Fire documentary that's on Showtime, and you could buy it on any platform, where people can buy unfinished ghost parts for guns. They're not regulated. They don't have serial numbers. People could buy that crap online and fix it so they can manufacture their own weapons. Then, on the other side, you could have people that do 3D printing of those weapons to cause mass murder. And it's sad. I mean, that whole documentary talks about it. And those that have mental health issues are a real big problem too. And a lot of people ask me why I don't have a small gun on me. If I were to go out anywhere, why don't I pack one? I have a couple of reasons. One, I'm physically disabled. Two, I don't know how I would be able to handle the blowback physically and emotionally, because people with disabilities, where they lack in one area, certain senses on me are so sensitive, like to pops and stuff like that. I could jump. I could jump at a moment's notice. Like if somebody dropped a pile of books, I could jump like crazy. And I don't think that I would be able to handle the blowback from a gun. And besides, if I had to kill somebody, would I be able to handle the emotional impact? Even if it was defending my home. Now they're saying it's up to 6 officers shot on NBC. So I'll give you the final countdown tomorrow when they get the full update on everything. I don't want to hype up the news, say like CNN or NBC. And as far as I know, they're calling in SWAT and other branches of heavy armed people to help this. So, yeah. As I close this video out, people, let's think about the young people that are in lockdown tonight. Hopefully they won't be at school. Hopefully they'll get this resolved. And, that's just the second shooting in Pennsylvania, state of Pennsylvania, within the last year. I think, didn't they have a mosque shooting here not too long ago? And it's like I told this American Joe fella, when he broke the news about this shooting. And I said, people are just nuts anymore. And I finally said, it doesn't matter how much you arm yourself. There's always going to be some nitwit that is going to do this shit to be famous. Just think about that for a minute. People are doing this shit so they could be in the history books of the worst mass shooting in American history. And I don't know if it's an inside job. I don't really care. I'm just thinking about the people that are caught in the middle of a crossfire tonight. So, as I close this video out, anybody from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, leave a message below in the commentary and let me know that you're okay. And those that are watching this, when they get home from their job or school, please message me on my commentary below to let me know that Philadelphians are home safe with their families. That is all I care about. So we'll see how this thing pans out. But it doesn't look good to my mind. So, yeah. I'll get back on tomorrow when I'm feeling a little better. I have a bit of a sinus headache, and it's been raining and storming, and I want to try and get into bed and get some rest. So, keep the people of Philadelphia in your thoughts. Keep the people of Dayton in your thoughts. And most certainly, El Paso goes along those lines as well. You know, if you know somebody that is a uniformed police officer and you see them on the streets, please thank them for their services. They put their butts on the line every day to keep us safe. You know, it's just a really sad state of affairs that kids are in lockdown on their first days of school. It is just totally unreal. You know, something needs to be done to curb these nitwits who want to be marked in the history books as infamous shooters. So think about it. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll get some final results on the Philadelphia situation. I don't want to comment on the latest income right now because you don't know what the hell they're talking about. First they said it was 4, now they're saying it's 6, but we won't know until the final tally is brought up over the next coming days. So you can bet I'll be doing a lot more of these streams over here than on my actual other video vlog. But I'll keep you apprised of the news. It might not be every day, but just whenever I get the time and when I'm feeling pretty good. So, yeah. But keep Philadelphia in your thoughts tonight as we go into the evening and the weekend. Take care of each other. And for the love of Pete, love one another. I don't care who you are, whether you're Mexican, Chinese, Middle Eastern, Italian, French. Love your fellow brother and sisters. And those that don't want to assimilate, you know, you can get on the next plane and get out of here. So I'll talk to you guys later. I'm just not really feeling good. So have a good night, everybody.
Facilitated the sexual assault in the early 2000s. It also names Epstein's longtime friend and associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who LaRue says she never met. The suit alleges that Maxwell enabled what prosecutors call a sex trafficking ring of children. In 2003, long before he was accused of child sex abuse, Epstein spoke with
Damn it, this whole thing must not be working. God damn.
Conversation hosted by Bloomberg ranges from his fabulous wealth to science and math.
Boy, this thing's all fucked up.